Hi everyone, my name is Bobby Wade and I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Admissions here at Purdue, and welcome to our Big Ten College Week Live video chat. So the whole preface of this chat is to give you, first off, a very brief overview of what Purdue is all about. I'm going to tell you about a little bit about academics, the admissions process, a little bit about student life as well. And then in just a few minutes, we're going to bring in a few current students so they can answer any questions you might have about what it's like to be a Boilermaker. So to begin, let's go to the next slide. Let's see. And as we continue to go throughout this, feel free to start typing your questions. We won't get to those until this very short presentation is over, but if you type up your question, we'll be sure to get that answered, or at least do our best to answer that before this is all over. Now, to begin, the Purdue story. Who is Purdue? When were we founded? And what are we all about? Well, in 1862, President Lincoln signed the Morrill Land Grant Act, which essentially allowed colleges throughout the country to be assigned land if their intent was to teach the mechanical arts like engineering or agriculture. So Purdue was founded in 1869. And one of the principal founders is the gentleman you see in this picture here, John Purdue. He gave $150,000 in 1869, which is obviously quite a bit more in terms of today's value. So he was one of the principal founders of Purdue. And we started as the school that focused on, like I said, engineering and agriculture. And I think a big question that a lot of students ask is, why are we called the Boilermakers? Well, we are called the Boilermakers because one weekend we were playing football against a neighboring school, Wabash College, just down the road, and we beat them pretty good. And in their newspaper the next week, they said the burly Boilermakers from down south snowed in the Wabash College Little Giants. Well, they called us Boilermakers because I guess they used it as a derogatory term, because at that time we were making boilers. We were making large things out of steel. But now, though we call ourselves Boilermakers still, our job, our mission is to not just make massive things out of steel, but to also make things smarter, faster, stronger, more efficient, whether that's in engineering, that's in the health fields like pharmacy, whether that's in vet science, aeronautics, psychology, hospitality and tourism management, all these different programs across the board. So our core mission is to innovate. What we make moves the world forward. That is our mission statement. And as you can see by exploring our website and hopefully through the rest of this presentation, we are actively working towards moving the world forward in our research projects every day. So moving on to the next slide, looking at all the colleges and schools that we offer. So initially, Purdue, like I said, was founded for engineering and agriculture. Now we have over 200 different majors across 11 different colleges and schools. In fact, that is only one aspect of the diversity of Purdue's campus. We have students from over 120 different countries, or all 50 states rather, and they all come here because they know that we have the resources to get them where they want to go. And a lot of our programs are leaders in their field. We're top 10 in engineering, very high ranked in pharmacy, vet school, and things like that. So regardless of what area you come to study at Purdue, you're going to be working with the latest and greatest resources with some excellent faculty and have a lot of opportunities to do your own research. In fact, right now, there's over 2,000 different undergraduate research programs or research projects going on right now. Okay. Looking at the next slide, our excellence here. So this talks about some of our rankings, and we are proud of our rankings. You'll see here, top value for Smart Money Magazine and Kiplinger. That's actually a ranking. We're number 8 on those lists, and that ranking was developed by looking at the cost of attending Purdue versus the amount, the average starting salary for most of our students once they graduate. So definitely ranked one of the best values in the country. And a lot of other really great stats here. Top 25 university, I already mentioned. Top 10 in engineering, and really just high-ranked individual programs. Now, while we are really proud of these rankings, they're just numbers. We understand that. Ultimately, we are a school of 30,000 undergraduates, 9,000 graduate students, and we are a very tight-knit community that's devoted to innovation and moving the world forward. So really, our efforts are what resulted in these rankings, and we're very proud of them. And we always like to share at least one story about how students come to Purdue and achieve great things. My favorite story is Matt Brisbane. He came to Purdue from a small town in Indiana. Initially, he didn't have he did not have the grades to get directly into our main campus, and so he started out at a regional campus and eventually transferred to Purdue. And when he transferred here, he did extraordinary things. He was the videographer for the home football games. So he did the game film in the press box of Ross-Ade Stadium. Then he was approached by a professor to work with the Purdue Envision Center for Data Perceptualization to help them build virtual hospital rooms, which he then worked on for that. And then he eventually got his master's degree from Purdue in computer graphics technology. And after getting that, he walked into a role as a technical director with DreamWorks Animation. He's worked on movies with Brad Pitt, Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Ferrell. He's done some pretty great things, but the greatest thing about that is he's doing what he loves to do. He's working with computers, and he's doing it actually where he wanted to be working all along. He's working in Redwood, California, just south of his dream location, San Francisco. So we share these stories because it illustrates that while these experiences are unique, the themes are very common. Students come to Purdue because we have the resources to get them where they want to go. Matt Brisbane started out not even having quite strong enough grades to get to the main campus, but we still offered him the path to get here eventually and gave him the resources to succeed. So as we go about this presentation, if you have any questions, once again, please continue to type those in, and once our student panel arrives, we will do our best to answer those. Now, that is a really broad overview of academics. Now we're going to talk a little bit about how we help our students succeed. Now, academics are very rigorous here at Purdue. This slide is all about what types of resources we offer you to make sure that once you get to Purdue, you succeed. Now, one, we have academic advising. Whenever you apply to Purdue, you apply to a specific major. So we will fit you to an advisor that knows exactly what classes you need to take in order to get in and out of that major within 4 years. So academic advising is a very important aspect of our resources. Learning communities. You can also elect to live in a community full of students, 20 to 30 students who are in your major, who are taking similar classes, so that you can live and learn with people who share your passions. The Honors College is another great resource. Essentially, this is for our high-achieving students, and as long as you apply by November 1, which is the early action deadline, then you will automatically be considered for the Honors College. And some perks of the Honors College include having the opportunity to live in the Honors College dorm or residence hall. Also, the opportunity to work with our top professors, some really great research opportunities, and things like that. So Honors College is definitely something that I highly encourage you to take advantage of, so definitely apply early action to make sure you're considered. Let's see. Academic success support. This includes the Academic Resource Center. And this center is kind of one of those places where you can get one-on-one tutoring. You can also take classes that will help you adjust to the college atmosphere, whether it's writing a college paper, taking notes in a college class and things like that. So this is more the one-on-one attention. Then we have supplemental instruction, which is where we have upperclassmen who are really excelled in these lower level classes. They will have review sessions after lectures. So say you have a Monday lecture, you might have a Tuesday night review session where The upperclassman is going over the material again, working on sample problems, and helping you kind of soak up that information if you didn't get it all in one go-round. So that's actually a very popular resource among our students. We also have some really great technologies that really help our students stay on pace and really take full advantage of the resources that we have here. So first off, one of the technologies is something called Signals. Signals is where we can track up to 22 different variables about our students' performance in class. So did you open the reading assignment? Did you participate in an online discussion forum and things like that? Through these types of variables, we can put you in one of three categories. If you're green, then you're prepared to succeed. If you're yellow, then you're kind of on the bubble. And if you're red, that means you need to talk with your professor to discuss strategies to improve. So whether there's 20 students in the class or 400, then you can still talk with your professor and discuss strategies to get you back on pace to succeed. Speaking of the larger classes, our average class size is around 25 to 30. Now, you may have some lower level classes that a lot of students need to take that have 400 students in them. That's kind of the nature of going to a big school. But we're doing something called Classes with Impact, where professors are increasingly putting their lectures online before class ever begins. So you can watch the lecture maybe the night before, and then when you attend class, you work with students in small groups during the class time while the professor walks around and kind of guides discussion. So it's making these large classes feel much smaller, much more personal, and still allows you to get that student to professor interaction that a lot of our students really enjoy. So yes, we are a large school, but we're making these big classes feel much more personal. Now, real quick on the admissions process. First off, we are on the Common App. So this is, we went to the Common App in hopes to make the process of applying to different schools as easy as possible. So you can fill out all your personal information on the Common App and then submit those to several different schools. So on the Common App, you will need to submit a typical essay, and then one extra portion will be the Purdue portion, and that question is why Purdue? So you'll need to submit the Common App, the Why Purdue writing supplement. Then we'll also need your transcript, test scores, essay, recommendation, and the application fee. Now, if you qualify for an application fee, you'll find that out at the end of the Common App. So it'll tell you what type of fee waivers are available at that point. Now, let's see. Looking at test scores, they need to be sent directly from the testing service. If you only take the ACT, you need to make sure that you also do the writing section, because we need at least one writing score. Now, for the SAT, we will superscore. For the ACT, we will not superscore it. We won't make a new composite score. But what we will do is look at all the subsections that you send in and kind of consider your highest scores in each specific area. Let's see. So there's that. You just want to make sure that you proofread your essay and that you get a strong letter of recommendation. And that recommendation does not need to come from somebody that's really fancy. It doesn't have to be from your congressman or anything like that. It really just needs to come from somebody who can speak to your ability to succeed, because that's what we review our applications for, to determine whether or not you can succeed on campus. That's one aspect of how we look at your application. Because when you apply to Purdue, you also apply to a specific major. Now, if you're applying for engineering, you'll apply for first-year engineering and things like that. Now, because you have to apply to a specific major, space constraints mean that we also have to consider your competitiveness for a specific major. For this reason, we highly encourage you to apply as early as possible. The early action deadline is November 1, so definitely make sure that your app is filled out before then. Moving on to the next slide. All right, so the application timeline. The application will go live August 1, and as I've mentioned several times, the early action application deadline is November 1. Now, this will ensure that you are considered for merit-based scholarships. If you apply after this, you will not be considered for merit-based scholarships. Also, this is the deadline for nursing and for vet tech. So definitely fill out your application before November 1 if at all possible. Also, if you apply early action, you will get your admission decision by mid-December. So I know everybody wants to know as soon as possible whether or not they got into the school of their choice. So apply early action and you'll get the earliest possible decision from us. Then looking at February 1, if you are admitted by February 1, then you have the opportunity to fill out the Purdue Scholarship Form. This is the opportunity to see what type of scholarships you're eligible for that have more specific criteria. So maybe it's the type of, or the program that you're going into. Maybe it's somebody from a certain county in Ohio. It really just depends, because when we get scholarships from donors, a lot of times they have stipulations, criteria that students need to meet in order for them to receive these scholarships. So by filling out this scholarship form, you help us identify which other scholarships you might be eligible for. So definitely take advantage of that. March 1 is the priority admissions deadline for all degree programs, so you really want to, if at all costs, make sure your application is in by March 1, and you do not need to decide on Purdue until May 1. That is the decision deadline. So you have all the way up until May 1 to decide whether or not you want to be a Boilermaker. So that is a very, very brief overview of Purdue. And right now we're going to have some students come on and discuss their experiences and answer any questions you guys might have. Their names are Shakira Robinson and Phil Holt. So 1 second and we will bring them up here.
Try to get us both in here. Hi, my name is Phil Holt. I'm a senior in aerospace engineering here at Purdue. I'm from Minnetonka, Minnesota, which is about 20 minutes outside of Minneapolis.
Hi, I'm Shakira Robinson. I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm a junior here studying occupational and environmental health sciences.
So we have our first question here from Kathy M. We'll say Kathy M. Her question is, are there any girl-only dorms on campus? The answer to that is yes. There is one all-female residence hall on campus. That is Windsor Hall. It's located right by our brand new co-rec center, which is absolutely phenomenal.
We have a second question from Nick. He says, hey there, here is... Just kidding.
We'll
Let's
close
go to
that.
the next question. We have a question from Bobby. It says, I was wondering if you guys have computer programs like graphic design.
We definitely do have programs in computer graphic design. There is a CGT major here on campus, which is computer graphics technology. You can get involved with that, which is a design type program. I have a few friends in it. They absolutely adore the program. One of them actually happened to do an industrial design inside graphics design. And what that means is they're designing different appliances here, or different appliances, things along those lines. And he had an internship actually over at Moen designing a faucet that they actually put into production, which is pretty cool.
Okay, we have another question from Kathy who says, is supplemental instruction offered for all classes? So I'll go ahead and answer that one. Supplemental instruction is not offered for all classes, but there are main core classes such as physics, bio 110 and 111, also first year engineering, and you want to feed off of that?
There's also, from my experience, computer science for intro to engineering, they had for those. But a lot of your entry-level classes definitely have supplemental instruction available, and the success rate for students who go to supplemental instruction classes is definitely a lot higher than those who do not attend. The next question that we have here is, how much and what kinds of hands-on real-world experience do you get here at Purdue? And that's from James C.
Okay.
Engineering students. I'm an engineering student, so I can definitely answer this question. Through all my engineering classes, there have been a lot of projects that I've had to do that have been focused on kind of real-world examples of things that you might encounter in industry. Any of that can be from the labs that I've had to participate in, as well as the group projects that I've done, and then also the access to different programs here at Purdue, whether it be EPICS or the internship programs, co-op programs. All those are accessible for engineering students. I have had probably about 7 different classes that have had a lab portion to them, and with that lab portion, I've gotten hands-on experience doing stuff that I'd be doing in industry. This last week, my aerodynamics lab, I was out at our airport facility here working with the Boeing wind tunnel out there, and that was really good hands-on experience that will help me in industry when I go work at a wind tunnel.
Okay, we have a question from Esna. We'll go with that. It says that I saw that you could take courses online because you do a master's in accounting online, and how does it work? Now, I'm not proficient in the entire master's program for accounting. You would have to contact the College of Credit, and they would be best to be able to help you with that. As far as classes online, you are able to take any courses online that are available. There are 8-week courses, there are summer courses, and there are fall and semester courses that are offered online.
The next question we have is from Daisy. Hello, good day. I'd like to know if you have offer financial aid / scholarships to international student freshmen. Unfortunately, I do not believe that we do offer financial aid and scholarships to international students because we are a state-run university. However, you might be able to look into funding from your government.
All right. We have Jana Cox. And it says, does Purdue offer any pre-college programs for high school students? Bobby will come speak more on that right now.
Sure.
Oh,
Hey, guys. Yeah, we do have a lot of pre-college programs. In fact, if you go to our website and look for residential summer programs, you'll see that we have a lot of camps on campus, and they range from engineering to the pre-med field to pre-law and things like that. So.
Yeah, there's one for management.
Oh, and one for management as well. So there are a lot of pre-summer camp programs, and there may be a few satellite camps or events in various areas of the country throughout the summer as well. So definitely keep your eyes and ears out for notices about that, and also feel free to check our website for those residential summer camps.
Perfect. The next question we have is from Benjamin. It says, if you are not interested in joining a fraternity, can you still have a fun social life? I will say absolutely 100%, no question about it. I'm personally not involved in our Greek life whatsoever, and I have had an absolute blast. Purdue has over 900 different clubs and organizations on campus, which allow you to get involved in pretty much anything that you enjoy, whether it be knitting or duct tape club or a service club, anything from a sports club to a interest club. Do you have anything to add to that?
I'll speak on that. I'm also not involved in Greek life currently, and I'm a junior here, and I've enjoyed every last minute here at Purdue. I've been involved in clubs such as the College Mentors for Kids, which is a service-based organization. I've also been involved in the Black Student Union, which is also for minorities here on campus. I've been involved in the Purdue Higher Ground Dancing Company. Like, whatever you want to do, you can find it here. And if it's not here, you can create it yourself if you get together with a group of friends.
On the flip side of that question, if you are interested in joining Greek life here at Purdue, we do have a very large Greek system. It's roughly 18% of our undergraduate population, with about 78 different Greek housing options on campus. If you are interested in the fraternity, sorority, or co-op system, it is definitely an option that Purdue does offer to you. So it's something, if you do decide to come here, and you are interested in it, it does offer that opportunity with an ample number of options.
Okay, our next question is from Emily. Hey, hi Emily. I was wondering what kind of things will really get you noticed by Purdue?
I'd say first off is definitely going to be your ACT or SAT scores, as well as your GPA. However, we do a holistic review of your application. So if you do happen to have a few grades that aren't completely up to par, we do look at your admissions essays, as well as what you're involved with here at your high school, as well as your recommendation letter. So there are a lot of things that could help you get noticed while you're applying here to Purdue. Do you have anything to add to that, or?
Bobby wants to add to that.
Bobby wants to come over here.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, just to give the admission officers a point of view, we look at the types of classes that you're in and compare them, especially with the major that you want to pursue. So we want to see that if you want to go into engineering, that you're doing well in your math and science, and that you're challenging yourself. So no matter what program you're going into, definitely don't be afraid to take those honors or those dual credit AP classes and things like that. So definitely challenge yourself and just be well-rounded. So staying involved, taking tough classes, and just showing us in whatever way you can that you can succeed at Purdue. And that is ultimately what will get you noticed. Thanks.
All right, we have someone that said that they can't hear us here. So Janiyah, I apologize if you can't hear us. I hope everyone else is able to hear us as well. So we also have a question here from Bob. Bob is asking, how is the food on campus? The food is phenomenal. I'll let you kind of take over from there right away.
That one. All right, so here we have how many dining courts is it again?
There are 5 different dining courts.
5 different dining courts, and they are all buffet style. So that's my favorite part of Purdue. One of the favorite parts. The buffets are amazing. You have a create it yourself pasta bowls, stir fry, burritos, waffle makers. Like, I really get excited about this because the food I think is really great here, and it's ranked in the top 25 amongst the nation.
I think this last year we were actually ranked somewhere in the top 15 or something like that for food on campus. It's absolutely phenomenal. When you live in the residence halls your freshman year, you are required to have a meal plan, which is absolutely phenomenal if you ask me. The food, as it was mentioned, is absolutely phenomenal. I love it. I try going back whenever I can to go to the different dining courts. We have all the different options of types of food that you want. Each dining court does have a different menu every single day, as well as a different menu per meal. If you are a vegetarian, we have a dining court that specializes in vegetarian options. Likewise goes for if you're a carnivore, there is Wiley Hall, which is kind of a specialty in meat over there. They have a bunch of different items that you can get, as well as double swiped steaks, which are delicious. Anything else about food?
Yeah, to feed off that, if you do have any other dietary restrictions, you are allowed to speak to a cook and they can let you know whether it's gluten-free, it has nut allergies, or anything of that sort. So they are very good in accommodating each person.
So the next question is from Ben again. It says, what options are there for dorms for freshmen? Are you able to choose a dorm and a roommate, or is it random?
All right, so as far as freshmen, there is Tarkington Hall, Owen Hall, Windsor Hall, Wiley Hall.
There's also Earhart, Shreve. I believe Hillenbrand's being open next year for underclassmen,
okay,
as well as McCutcheon and Harrison. So there's roughly about 13 different options that you have for where to live your freshman year. You are allowed to rank those. If you apply before if you accept your offer and sign your housing contract before, I believe it is May 5th, you are allowed to enter the housing lottery. And what that allows you to do is you can rank your options 1 through 15, and then when your name is pulled through the lottery system, and your number 1 option is still available, you can live in your number 1 option. As far as roommates go, you're allowed to either go what I did my freshman year, which was called potluck, or that's what we call it here. And with potluck, basically you get a random roommate. I had a random roommate. I still am in contact with him today. We hang out all the time. It's awesome. However, if you do have someone that you want to live with, you are more than welcome to sign your housing contract with someone. And what you do with that is you basically say, hey, I want to live with Phil, and Phil wants to live with Brad, and you both put each other's names in your housing contracts, and that's how you'd end up living with your someone that you wanted to know.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, when picking residence halls, also make sure when you fill out your questionnaire that you make sure that the answers to your questions will match up with the roommate that you're usually chosen with, so they'll pair you based off of those answers. So if there's someone that you do have in mind, be sure to include their Purdue email so that in their name so that you can be placed with each other. What does that say?
So Ben is asking another question. It says, what is the honors housing like for freshmen? So honors housing this next year is actually going to be moved into a brand new residence hall that we have called 3rd Street Suites, which is located right near the new co-rec facility. Oh, excuse me, it's going to be in Shreve this next year. So Shreve will be the honors residence hall for this next year. And basically what will happen is all the honors students, as well as learning community students, will be placed in Shreve Hall. And that's where they have been historically for the past 2 or 3 years, I believe. And as a result, you're living in all the honors. You'll basically live in all the honors community there. See if we have any more questions here. Did we miss anything?
All right, so we have Sarah. Sarah from Milwaukee has asked us, how is it dealing with recitations and labs? You want to answer that?
So with recitations and labs, I know that Bobby mentioned it earlier about the recitation periods. What happens with those is your more technical classes will be covered in a lecture style hall primarily. So that'll be generally a Monday, Wednesday, Friday lecture. And then on Tuesday or Thursday or both, you might have a recitation period. So your lecture hall class might be a large lecture, about 400 students or so, but then you'll break up into smaller groups of about 25 to 30 students, depending on what class you're in. And you will have a TA who will go over what material you went over in class. Some of that material might be anywhere from your math classes to physics classes, chemistry classes will all have a recitation period. It really helps you kind of figure out what exactly is going on in the class. Also, you might turn in homework, take quizzes, and just ask any other supplemental questions that you have here. So we have a question here from Kelly. What is the gym like on campus? Would you like to talk about the gym?
Yes, actually, so we have a brand new center, the Francis Cordova Center, which is our recreational center here at Purdue. It is 4 levels, I believe, and it's really, really great. We actually have rock climbing there. We have 2 rock climbings, a boulder wall and how many feet?
It's 55 feet.
55 feet rock climbing wall, which is amazing here. It's free and all access to all students here. In order to get into the recreational center, you must have your Purdue ID. You'll swipe in. You're offered all of the services here. We also do have expert classes, which are Pilates, Taekwondo, yoga, different classes
Zumba.
that are offered in the mornings and evenings for students also. And that's a group session that you would do with the annual fee, which is about no more than $85, I believe.
The co-rec was actually just renovated this past year. It's been open for roughly a year now. And as a result, we have about 450,000 square feet of workout area. And as was mentioned, we have pretty much anything you'd ever want to do, from basketball, we have racquetball courts, squash courts, badminton courts, a whole bunch of free weights, cardio machines. We have 2 indoor tracks. We have a recreation pool, which includes some lap lanes, basketball hoops, as well as a vortex pool and a 45-person hot tub. And we also do have the Boilermaker Aquatic Facility, which is where the varsity swim and dive teams practice. However, it is open for students to use when the teams aren't practicing. So just the other day, I went and swam some laps over in the pool. They also have a full-size diving well there as well.
And then to feed off of that, we also have intramural sports, which you're a part of through the recreational center, and you would pick a team with you and your friends, maybe you and some residence hall members, or you and another organization, and you would compete against different teams throughout the year, whether it's basketball, whether it's tennis, volleyball, and you guys will compete, and it's just a way of being fun if you're not on the actual Big Ten sports team.
So we have a question here from Emily, and it says, is there a lot of one-on-one with the teachers?
Okay, I'll answer that. I would say office hours. Their office hours allotted for each teacher, and you would take your time to go into those office hours to ask any questions that you have, or just to really spend time and get to know the teacher. I find myself going into office hours, whether it's questions or just like, hey, I want to review information before the exam, or any strategies to help. And I think the use of those are really important, especially with TAs, which are your teacher assistants. I think that they are very helpful also when you can't get in contact with the professor.
There are tons and tons of office hours. I'm actually planning on going to my office hours directly after this to go review some material that I'm not entirely sure about on my homework. So all the professors and TAs that I have been extremely, extremely open to having you come to their office hours. They love it when you come talk to them. They really enjoy having that one-on-one connection with their students. I know most of my professors know me by my first name, and I'm not just another number to them. They know I'm Phil, and I go talk to them, and they give me the help that I need. So we have a question from Janaya. It is, why did you guys choose to attend Purdue? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll let you go first this time.
I chose Purdue because I absolutely fell in love with the campus and the program basically when I stepped here on campus. I came and took a tour my senior year, and as a result, I kind of got this, just this feeling that Purdue was where I belonged. I looked at a bunch of different schools all across the nation, from California to one over in New York, as well as one here in Indiana. And basically, Purdue really drove it home for me. Our engineering program definitely brought me to the school here, and also the fact that I thought I could get a really good return on my investment in my education when I do graduate and get a job in industry.
All right, so the reason why I chose Purdue is a lot different, actually. I didn't really hear much about Purdue until my senior year of high school. I had never heard of the school because I'm from Miami, Florida, and usually ACC schools are really big down south. But coming here as a senior, I came and I did a visit, a full, admissions tour, star date, all of that great stuff. And that really was what made me come and choose Purdue. It was just the feeling of home, and it had, the people were so here. They're amazing here. They're really friendly, and just the environment itself. And of course, it had all 4 seasons because I don't get that in Florida. So that was something different that I really wanted to be a part of. And to this day, I don't regret the decision.
So Christine here says, can you provide more information about the gymnastics club team? How do they practice? Is there a coach? Where do they compete? Believe it or not, I actually know the answer to this question. One of my friends is actually the president of the gymnastics team, and they actually have different competitions throughout the year. They are a club sport, so what that means is that they are centered out of the rec center. So with club sports, that is the gymnastics team, there's a club basketball team, club volleyball team. If you want to compete intercollegiately on a team besides D1 here at Purdue, you can get involved with club sports. Because they are out of the co-rec, they actually have co-rec space that they can utilize to practice. I think they go to a gym around here somewhere. They have a deal with them. but on weekends they go to different Big Ten schools around the Midwest and actually go compete. This last weekend, I think they were at the University of Wisconsin. Google Purdue Gymnastics Club. You're more than welcome to email their president. She's a really nice girl. I promise she'll be able to answer more questions than I have the ability to. I apologize, Jana.
Okay. Emily says, is there a choir at Purdue? Well, there are many choirs here at Purdue. One of our largest choirs is the Purdue
Glee Club, as well as the Purduettes and the Purdue University Choir. Those are all PMUs, which are Purdue PMOs, which are Purdue musical organizations. There are a ton of different choirs, as I mentioned. There's the Glee Club, which is all male, the Purduettes, which is all female, the University Choir, which is male and female, as well as we also do have a bell choir, which is pretty cool, so if you're interested in playing the bells. We have the Purdue University Christmas show, which has been going on for, I think, over 100 years now, if I'm not mistaken, and they all perform in that ensemble every single year. The PMOs actually are just having a new building erected on campus named Bailey Hall, so they're going to have a brand new facility just for them coming up this next year. If you're interested in choir, there's definitely a way to pursue that while you're here at Purdue.
All right, we have another question from Kathy. It says, is there a club tennis team and a golf club team? Yes, there are. Any kind of club that you really would like to be involved, there is one here. What I would suggest is, once accepted to Purdue, or even now, you can Google through Purdue club's golf team, and there's a thing called Boiler Wink and Boiler, what is it, Boiler?
I don't remember what it's called.
And it has a list of all of our clubs and activities, the presidents, the people you can contact, the events that they host, and that would give you more information than what we can provide here, actually. I want to say it's Boiler Wink.
I think it's Boiler Link or something along those lines. But if you do Google Purdue clubs and organizations, they will pull up a list that will give you roughly a list of about 950 different clubs and organizations that you can go scroll through. There's a club tennis team. My roommate plays on it. I know for a fact. There's a traveling one as well as a kind of fun one that you can join if you are interested in not being competitive. Another question is, what is the name of the all-female residence hall or dorm?
Windsor Hall. So Windsor Hall is basically our only all-female dorm here at Purdue, and I call it Hogwarts because that's what it looks like to me. It's these castle brick-like residence halls, and it's 5 in a cluster, and each dorm has a specific name to it, but they're all under Windsor Hall. It also has a dining court in the basement, and it also has single rooms and suite style, if I believe so.
Perfect. So we have another question here, and it is, what is Boiler Gold Rush? So Boiler Gold Rush is our freshman orientation program. Basically what happens is you'll come to Purdue about a week before school starts, and you'll actually go through a orientation process here at Purdue where you will get paired with a bunch of different students who are all coming to Purdue fresh like you are, as well as you'll go around campus, learn about the traditions that we have here at Purdue, as well as do different activities and basically get to know Purdue. I have attended Boiler Gold Rush when I was a freshman, as well as I was involved with the program as a team leader for 2 years, as well as a supervisor for the program for another year. And as a result, I've been very thoroughly involved with it. It's a phenomenal program. I highly, highly, highly recommend you attending it if you do decide to come to Purdue. It really is where I met a lot of the students that I actually still hang out with to today. My best friend / my roommate now is the guy that I met during Boiler Gold Rush. Do you have anything to say about Boiler Gold Rush?
I enjoyed it. I loved it. I also did it freshman year. I am still roommates with my friends from Boiler Gold Rush to this day, being a junior. And I think it's just an amazing experience to bring you to campus and welcome you here and just to learn about the traditions and the many different activities that we have here. And I think it's really worth it. So we have a question from Abdullah, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, that says, hello, can I apply at Purdue University with an IELTS band? And we're going to allow Bobby to go ahead and speak on that.
All right, so whenever I say I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions, I actually work with the undergraduate admissions office for domestic students. So this sounds like it's a question for our International Students and Scholars office, which you can find the contact info for that on our website. So unfortunately, I can't give you a specific question about the IELTS band or the TOEFL or things like that. But if you go to our International Students and Scholars office on the website, they should have that information for you.
And then another question that Abdullah had was, is there a cricket club on campus? Yes, there is. They like to practice in the armory as well as in the band practice fields. There is actually a pretty active cricket club here. I see them playing all the time. I still have no idea how that sport works, but it looks kind of cool. So, and then Emily has asked us, do you know when the next campus tour is? The answer to that is 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. There are, however, tours all through the school year as well as into the summer. So if you're interested in attending a tour here at Purdue, I believe you can sign up for them on the admissions website, which is admissions.purdue.edu, and look for the link that says, I think, Visit Purdue, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. We have another question from Sarah from Wisconsin. It says, what is the CCO and the opportunities that they have? So the CCO is basically our Center for Career Opportunities, and with that being said, it's in Young Hall here on campus, right across the street from Cranner. If you do take a visit and tour here, what they offer is resume building workshops, interview strategies, mock interviews, different career aptitude tests, different things to help you basically develop yourself for the real world and your career that you plan to pursue, and also find out what career fits you best. So anything else you want to add?
The CCO is great, as was mentioned. Like, they basically will do anything to help you get a job, whether it be that a mock interview, reviewing your resume, helping you write a cover letter, researching a company. And a really cool thing that they actually have is it's called the resume book. And so what happens with the resume book is you go ahead, and I'm in the aerospace engineering school, so I go ahead and I put my resume in the aerospace engineering resume book. And what happens is companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, GE Electric, everything along those lines, they'll come and they'll actually take the resume book and look for students that might be a good fit for their internship program or full-time full-time positions there. So they basically will do anything to help you. They're a phenomenal facility.
We can send it to the chat.
Okay. We apparently are having some issues with sound for you. Emily will actually answer your question through the chat, just so you can get an answer for that.
Okay, I'll type it down here while you go to the next question.
So our next question is from Catherine. It says, do you have a junior or senior to be in the resume book? The answer to that is no. You're allowed to, I think it says resume book. I can't see the full question. I have to scroll back up here. The answer to that is no. You're allowed to enter that right as a freshman. The CCO is there to help you no matter what year you're here at Purdue. So you could either be a freshman, you could be a sophomore, junior, senior, and actually you're allowed to be a graduate of Purdue as well. The CCO will help graduates of Purdue, so the alumni of Purdue, if you happen to want to come find a better job in 10 years, the CCO is more than willing to come help you out. So we're going to see if we have any more questions here.
Alrighty, we have one from...
And the question is, does CCO help you to find internships? The answer to that is yes, they help you, lead you on the path to finding an internship for yourself. So there is an online portal. The CCO has an online website that basically employers come to Purdue and they're like, hey, we're looking for X number of interns, X number of co-op students, X number of full-time students. And as a result, you can go online and look for jobs that you're qualified for, because the CCO will have your GPA, your year in school, everything along those lines. And as a result, that they can go ahead and kind of put you in the right direction to apply for jobs that would help you in an industry. So the CCO does help you get will help you get an internship, but they'll not do the footwork for you. You have to do the footwork for yourself, but they provide a phenomenal portal to access that.
All right, we have a question from Benjamin that says, are upperclassmen guaranteed housing, and do you know what percentage of upperclassmen live on campus? I know that you know the answer to this question.
Upperclassmen, depending on how the situation is, can be guaranteed housing on campus. The way that you are basically absolutely guaranteed housing on campus, if you're an upperclassman, is if you live in the residence halls as a incoming freshman. The upperclassmen have first dibs on rooms coming after your freshman year. So basically, if you know you want to move into a suite style room with your friends in Hillenbrand Hall, for example, you can go ahead and sign up for that hall room before you've even finished your freshman year here at Purdue. As far as percentages go in upperclassmen living on campus, it kind of starts to decline after your sophomore year into your junior and then your senior year, with senior year being the least number of upperclassmen students living on campus. However, I do believe the return rates to the residence halls are right around 55%. So that's a lot of people deciding to live into the residence halls 1 year into another. And as a result, you can go ahead and keep living in the residence halls if you want to, but you are more than welcome to move off. Most people do decide to move out of the residence halls by usually about their junior year or so.
And another thing to speak on housing, as far as the different opportunities, there is 4th Street Towers, which is a independent residence hall, which gives you your own room. You get a kitchenette on each floor. There is a lounge area. It offers many different services. And there's also Hawkins Hall, which is for graduate students. So if you want to complete your graduate studies here at Purdue, there's also a residence hall offered for you.
So we have another question here, and it is from Joe from Minnesota. Hey, I like Minnesota. You're awesome. He says, what is your student union like?
Alrighty.
So the student union here on campus is actually really, really cool. I have I spend a lot of time there doing different homework assignments as well as just kind of hanging out with friends. We have a whole bunch of different food options down in the union. And as a result, you can go down there and get anything from Mexican food. There's a flatbread place. There's a smoothie place. We have crepes. We also have a 10-lane bowling alley as well as billiards room located down in the union, so you can go and hang out there. And we also have open mic nights there and other events such as Flicks at Fowler, which is a free movie you can go see. This last week, I think they just played Thor 2, so you can go there and see movies for free as a Purdue student. They do a lot of different activities, and it's a great way to go to spend some time.
And then there's also dinery and eatery places there, such as Villa, Starbucks, Pappy's, which is also kind of like a burger joint. And then there is a salad place, which is what is it called?
It's called, I think it's Villa also. It's through Villa.
Under Villa, and then there's Freshens, which is a crepe place, and there's the Indian counter, which is Indian masala. You'll find my face if you ever visit. And then there is also Oasis, which is also a really good sandwich shop.
So we have another question here. It's from Julie out in Wisconsin. Wow, we have a lot of Wisconsin people here today.
They must be popular.
And she's asking a question about study abroad options. Do you have options to go study abroad while you're at Purdue? Would you like to touch on that?
Yes, and before I speak on that, if you're having difficulties with your sound, we have got notification that if you turn up the volume on your computer, it might help. And if you still have difficulties, please write it in the text box and we'll try to accommodate you. As far as abroad, there are many different abroad programs here at Purdue. I actually plan to attend one next spring. And with that being said, you would contact our study abroad office, which is in Young Hall, and they would be able to direct you with financial aid grants. There's, I don't really know.
I don't remember what their exact name for the financial aid grants are, but the study abroad office does offer tons and tons of different opportunities to help you go study abroad. Where are you going next year?
I plan to go to Italy. Hopefully everything works out, so that's where I plan.
And I've had a bunch of friends that have gone all over the world. I can brag about having friends that have gone to every single continent. Actually, one of my friends is actually in the Earth and Atmospheric Sciences program here at Purdue, and he did a study abroad down in Antarctica. So that's, I think, pretty darn nifty. Also, a cool thing about Purdue being a part of the Big Ten network is that we actually have access to all the different study abroad programs on the different campuses for the same cost that it would be for a student to go there. So if University of Michigan happens to offer a program that you're really interested in, you can attend their university admissions program as the same cost it would be for a Michigan student to do so. So we have a question about are there different cultural centers here on campus? Do you want to touch on that, or?
All right, so we have a few different culture centers. There is the Latino Culture Center, the Black Culture Center, the Native American Culture Center, and then we recently just added the LGBTQ Culture Center here on Purdue's campus. And within these different culture centers, they offer different groups and different activities and different displays that let you know about the cultures and what they have going on. I know right now for Black History Month, the Black Culture Center has a series of talks and discussions on hair and being Black here at Purdue, and they also have a soul food night, I know, where they expose people to the different types of traditional foods that Black people use and eat. In the Latino Culture Center, they have free salsa lessons and free bata lessons, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. You want to speak also?
Also, like the Latino Cultural Center holds what they call Speak Spanish nights, and you can actually go there and kind of refine your Spanish speaking skills with someone who speaks Spanish natively. I have friends who are doing the Spanish minor and major programs, and they go there to kind of perfect their Spanish skills before they're going for their orals. And I hear they have absolutely phenomenal free tacos. So if you want good tacos, you can go to the Latino Cultural Center. And this being said, I want to definitely make it known that the cultural centers are not just for people of certain ethnicities or backgrounds. They are open to all students here at Purdue. Um, I know the Black Cultural Center has a bunch of different kind of musical and arts organizations that you are more than welcome to get involved with, as well as throughout the different cultural centers as well.
All right, we have a question from Ashley, who is from Miami. Hey! So she asks about the layout of campus and how campus is set up. To speak on that, there is a section called Engineering Mall, which consists of the different engineering buildings, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, materials, and sciences engineering building. There is Civil Hampton, which is what else kind of engineering is that?
Civil engineering.
Civil engineering. There's Armstrong, named after Neil Armstrong, who is also a fellow Boilermaker. And there is one more I'm missing.
You're missing. Oh, there's me, Wang Hall, which is going to be the new a new part of the electrical engineering halls. So that's just kind of the engineering side of campus. Also, a few buildings up here on the engineering side of campus. We also have PUSH, which is Purdue University Student Health Center. That's our doctor's office here on campus, as well as the pharmacy building, which is where our pharmacy program is housed. Our pharmacy program is one of the best in the nation. As we continue on down to the south side of campus, we run into our agriculture, our management school, as well as our veterinary tech vet kind of side of campus. So if you're interested in anything along those lines, that's kind of where you're going to end up. And then kind of plopped right in the middle, we have our liberal arts as well as our education located right by Beering Hall and the math department over there as well.
Okay. And to also speak on campus, there are two fountains on campus, which is the engineering fountain, which is in the middle of the engineering buildings, and then there is the other fountain, which is called the Loeb Fountain, and that's in the middle of Beering and other liberal arts schools. Also on campus, we have our science buildings, which are further towards the south side, is that what you call it? Yeah, and that consists of Lilly Hall, Smith Hall, and the agriculture department buildings are also in that area. Then there is also the Union and Stewart Center, which are our main buildings when trying to find different things on campus. Those are your central locations you would go to, and especially on tours, they would take you through those buildings. They consist of different libraries and, of course, the eateries as we spoke of earlier.
Awesome. So we have a question here about how are athletics at Purdue, and can you attend different events? Do you have to buy tickets? And what else does that say there? Do you have to buy tickets? And can you get access to all the events through a certain type of pass? So the answer to that is, in case you didn't know, Purdue is part of the Big Ten Athletics Division. And with that, we basically, if you ask me, Big Ten is the best athletics division in the entire nation. I think we beat out the SEC. I don't know if you're partial to that because you're from the South, but
Okay, we'll go with that.
I really like Big Ten athletics. Purdue has a football team here as well as a basketball team that students love attending different events for. Our football team is currently in a rebuilding year. This next year we're going to come back. We just got a brand new coach this year, so we're really excited about where that's going to go. Boilermaker men's basketball team is absolutely phenomenal. I love going and watching them. Last night it was really tough watching them lose in overtime to Michigan, but it was a lot of fun going to the event and actually getting to be in the atmosphere. Matt Kieran is phenomenal.
Actually, speaking on sports, you are able to buy a student pass, and with student passes, you can get one specifically to a sport or to all inclusive sports. And each student is available to buy that through our purduesports.purdue.edu, I believe is the website. But if you Google it, there are student VIP passes, and that basically gives you season passes to all of the events. And with those passes, you would pick them up from our ticket office, or you would use your Purdue ID to get into events. Yeah.
I'd highly recommend getting the VIP pass. It gets you access to every single event on campus. I've done that for the past 4 years, and I have definitely not regretted it one bit. I've gone to all the football games, all the home basketball games. I've gone to women's basketball games, women's volleyball games. Our women's volleyball team got to the Sweet 16 this last year, which was pretty awesome. So it's always a ton of fun to be involved with. But I highly recommend going to sporting events. It's a ton of fun.
All right, we have a question from Katie, who's asking about transportation opportunities here on campus. So to speak on that, we have campus loops that go around campus in the different residence halls and the different local buildings near campus. And with those campus loops, they will take you to and from class, especially on those winter days. They get a pretty pack, but they're beneficial. They are free to all Purdue students. You just show your Purdue ID and you're allowed access to the bus. There's also transportation to the airports, which are to Indy Airport and Chicago Airport. I use those frequently, me being from out of state, and they're usually through Star of America, Lafayette Limo, and different things that you can probably Google and find out of the shuttle services. They come pick you up from different residence hall locations and then our central Purdue Memorial Union.
We are very close proximity to both Indianapolis as well as Chicago as far as driving goes. We're about an hour to the north of Indianapolis, straight down I-65. So if you're interested in going to Indianapolis, you can definitely head down there pretty easily. As well as we're only 2 hours from Chicago up north. So if you're interested in going to Chicago for a weekend, maybe going to the Chicago Auto Show, I know I've done that before, or going to a Blackhawks game. I'm not a Blackhawks fan, but I had to go root on the Minnesota Wild, so I had to go do that. But it's very easy to make the trips. And kind of a tagging question off that is like, what do Purdue students like to do on the weekends? There are tons of different activities that are put on by different clubs and organizations here on campus. As well as I mentioned, you can go off campus to Indianapolis or Chicago if you want to. Hang out with your friends, sporting events.
I mean, there's a local mall here also. There's a there's a Purdue bowling alley. You mentioned that earlier in the Union, so I find that to be fun. I love to bowl. There's also a Wabash Theater, which is right up the landing across the bridge, and that's also available to students. And then there's the Amtrak. I use the Amtrak to go to Chicago because I have family there, and it's a $40 ticket. You go one way, get up to Chicago, go hang out for a weekend, and come on back. So I think that's really cool.
So we have a question here. It's from Joe, and Joe asks, is the engineering program a 4-year program? So the answer to that question is yes. Purdue is designed as a 4-year university. We only have one major, which is not 4 years, and that is our pharmacy program here at Purdue. So every other major is designed so you can go and get into the program and graduate within 4 years. Our new Purdue president, who just joined us this last year, was Mitch Daniels, and he was a former Indiana State governor. Kind of came up with this policy that he likes to call the 4-3-2-1 graduate plan. And so what the 4-3-2-1 graduate plan stands for is he wants all students to graduate in 4 years with a GPA of 3.0 or above and holding 2 leadership positions inside organizations here at Purdue's campus, and then have 1 summer of engineering, not engineering, excuse me, I'm an engineer, have industry experience before you graduate, and then you go ahead and graduate. So Purdue is designed as a 4-year program. The only caveat to that would be the pharmacy program, which is you apply to pre-pharmacy, you either do pre-pharmacy or another major. Are you interested in going to pharmacy school here, if I'm not mistaken? I'll let you talk about that.
All right, so with the pharmacy program here, there is a pre-pharmacy option that you'll be accepted into the College of Pharmacy here once applied for admissions. And then there is also, you'll do 2 years or 3 years pre-pharmacy, and then you apply into the program and go through an interview process. Interviews are actually going on this week, so good luck to all of those Boilermakers. And once accepted into the pharmacy program, you will have a 4-year postdoctoral program that you would complete, and on the 4th year is rotations, which is where you would spend your different activities at different locations in different hospitals and different retail places that would allow you to get the full experience of what pharmacists do.
We have a question. How far is Speedway, Indiana from campus? I'm not entirely sure. I think it's around Indianapolis, isn't it? So it's probably I think it's about an hour or so.
I'm sure if you post to one of the Purdue University class of 2017 or 2018 pages, you can carpool with someone who might be from Speedway, Indiana, but I don't know of any shuttle services that do go that way.
Google Maps might give a better answer than I will.
There you go. All right, one last question because we do have only about 3 minutes left, and it's from Emily. It says, how many years would it take to major in veterinary?
I think the veterinary program here is a 4-year program, if I'm not mistaken. We have a vet tech program, which is very highly renowned around the nation. I'd definitely check the website if you aren't entirely, I'm not entirely sure. I can't quote me, but I know our vet tech program is 4 years if you're interested in going to the veterinary tech side of things. So we're going to hand it back over, and we thank you very much for asking all the different questions. I hope we did a good job of answering them, and I hope you guys have a great day. And
choose Purdue.
Choose Purdue and boiler up.
Hey guys, Bobby Wade again here. So thank you very much once again for attending our Big Ten College Week Live chat. Now for more questions, we will be on the chat section here throughout the rest of the night until I think about 10 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely feel free to stay here and type in your questions, and a counselor will be more than glad to answer those for you. Now, if you have specific admissions questions or financial aid questions, our website is also a great resource for that. Our website is purdue.edu, and that also has the contact info for the admissions office, whether you want to call or email, just in case maybe your question did not get answered here. So thank you once again for attending, and we look forward to seeing you all on campus here soon.